Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's end-of-day world currencies, stock markets and commodities wrap-up for Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. Kicking things off, I'm Victoria Cashmore. Major currencies show the greenback strengthening modestly against its peers. The US dollar gained 0.32% against both the euro and sterling, while rising 0.3% versus the yen. 3 consecutive days of gains are observed against most major pairs. Looking at returns, the dollar shows strength in the week-to-date metrics, gaining about 1% against the euro and 1.6% versus the yen. However, year-to-date performance remains negative, with declines ranging from 7% to 8% against major currencies. Among other currencies, the US dollar advanced 0.17% against the Canadian dollar and made modest gains versus the offshore yuan and Singapore dollar. However, it weakened 0.29% against the Kiwi. Returns data for these pairs shows the greenback up nearly 1% against the loonie week to date. Year-to-date losses are less severe against these currencies, with the largest decline of 5.5% versus the Singapore dollar.
Looking at global stock market tracking ETFs, I'm Max Profit. Poland leads today's gainers, rising 1.3% to 31.25, hitting a new all-time high. South Korea follows with a 1.2% gain, showing strong upward momentum and volatility. Both ETFs display very strong positive trends. Year-to-date returns show Poland significantly outperforming with a nearly 50% return. South Korea follows with a 19.4% gain, while Philippines and Israel have posted returns of 11.6% and 9.8% respectively. Among declining global markets, New Zealand leads the losses, dropping 2.5% to 44.23. Japan and Chile both fell 1.7%. Chile broke downward after 5 days of sideways movement, while Japan maintains a very strong positive trend despite today's decline. Despite today's declines, year-to-date performance shows Spain up 38.1% and Chile gaining 28.5%. New Zealand remains the weakest performer, down 2.1% for the year, while Denmark has managed a modest 6.3% gain.
Considering commodities, I'm Liquidity. Gold futures and silver futures are both showing consecutive down days, though aluminum futures broke upward after consolidating, gaining 1%. Palladium futures extended its losing streak to 6 days. Year-to-date performance shows gold futures leading with a 24.3% gain, while aluminum futures is the only metal showing negative returns at -4.9%. Copper futures and silver futures both show moderate gains around 13–16%. In energy futures, natural gas plunged 6% amid a very strong negative trend. Crude oil advanced 1.6%, while Brent crude, gasoline, and heating oil showed minimal movement after 3 days of flat trading. Month-to-date returns show energy futures generally strengthening, with crude oil and Brent crude both up over 6%. Natural gas continues its decline, down nearly 4% this month, amid persistent downward pressure. Live cattle futures hit a new all-time high, surging 3.3% with strong upward volatility. Class 2A milk jumped 6.1%, while corn broke downward after 4 flat days, dropping 1.9%. Year-to-date performance shows lean hogs leading with a 23.3% gain, followed by feeder cattle at 12.4%. Class 2I milk remains the only livestock future showing negative returns for the year. In grains, oat futures rose 2.2%, with increasing volatility. Rough rice gained 1% in its third consecutive up day. Soybean futures broke downward after 5 days of consolidation, falling 1.3%. Year-to-date returns show oat futures leading grains with an 11.4% gain. Wheat futures shows the largest decline at -6.1%, while rough rice and corn both show modest losses. Soft commodities showed broad weakness today. Coffee futures fell significantly by 9.95 to 351.75, down 2.7%, showing strong downward momentum. Sugar reached a new all-time closing low at 16.91, marking its fourth consecutive down day. Cotton futures broke downward after 6 days of consolidation. Looking at returns, orange juice shows the most significant year-to-date decline at -43.4%. Cocoa has dropped 17.1% year-to-date, but shows positive momentum this month with an 8.9% gain. Coffee remains the only commodity with a positive year-to-date return at 10%.
And with that, we conclude another end-of-day world currency, markets and commodities wrap-up. I'm Victoria Cashmore, along with my AI co-hosts Max Profit and Liquidity. Thanks for watching. Look for daily wrap-ups every day just after 5 p.m. New York time. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency and commodities. Thanks for watching.